Fellas, you know Degree Cool Rush deodorant, right? Well, last year they changed the formula, and guys were mad about it. One dude even started a petition. So guess what? Degree heard us, admitted they messed up, and brought the original Cool Rush scent back exactly how it was. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So grab some and remember why its cool, crisp, and fresh scent made it the #1 men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory for all of us.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Just so I don't forget, let me get the stupid phone number out of the way so you can call us. 855-935-TALK. That's our phone number, 855-935-8255. Give us a holler. We want to talk about, well, money with you. Making it, saving it, spending it, particularly investing it, and keeping you from getting ripped off. Now, before we begin, Tom, take it easy. I need you to lean back, relax, enjoy the ride, because we are now on the #1 station in the Puget Sound region. And so we don't have to work as hard as we used to. Not #1 AM or #1 50 plus. No, #1 in the market.
And you're saying a recumbent broadcast will be better than others?
Exactly. I'm just saying you should lean.
Probably would be.
Instead of leaning in, lean out a little. Lean out.
Okay. Probably
Chill,
makes better performance anyway.
Relax. We want to, we don't want to push our luck. We're just, things are too good right now.
Oh, come on. That was about.
That was insincere.
Was that
wasn't
close
it?
to sincerity?
It was really nowhere.
Close. Right,
it wasn't
right
even
there.
in the neighborhood.
All right.
Yeah. But we're here
gave
anyway.
The number. We're here to talk about money. That's Don. I'm Tom. Here we go.
Yeah, that's Don. I'm Don. He's Tom. This is a show called Talking Real Money. What we talk about is, well, obviously, money. And mainly investing because, well, for a couple of reasons. One, because it's probably the area most people are most confused about. Most people know how to go to work and earn a living. Most people are great at spending money. They've got spending down. I know how to go online and order from Amazon. Target, I got it. I know where everything is. Walmart, got it. Know where it is. I know where the Starbucks is. You know how to spend it. But investing it is a bit of a problem for you. And a lot of the problem has to do with the fact that you're a little bit overconfident in your abilities, and you kind of need to be knocked down a peg or two.
Most of the time, sadly, and the experience is past experience, especially immediate past experience. Past performance
experience is no
past
indication.
Performance, yeah, it literally isn't. I mean, this week is illustrative of that, right? Monday, markets go way down. Tuesday, they go way up. Friday, we had a new record high of major indexes. Everybody's thinking great. But in a general sense, people have a tendency to believe that what has happened will continue to happen. There's no track record of that. In fact, things
as a matter of fact,
go all over the place.
One of my pet peeves is that saying, past performance does not guarantee future results. I even make fun of it in our disclaimer when I have our announcer woman say, past performance doesn't mean really anything.
Yeah, and yet, as Jason Zweig points out this week, the human habit of pretending that a rearview mirror is a crystal ball is almost incorrigible. Let me say that again. The human habit of looking back and thinking that's what's going to happen we just can't be stopped. I mean, this is what people
great
truly
prose.
believe.
That is some
really
meaty writing, Jason. Nice job, dude.
Well, he spends all week writing one column where you and I have to spew out thousands of words every day.
Right.
So
ours is going to be far less profound.
Yeah, it should be. I get it.
Yeah.
What the world is he talking about? What are we talking about? Here's what we're talking about.
What are we talking about, Tom?
Well, for one thing, he mentions a study that looks at when things go well.
Yeah.
People think they will continue to go well.
Okay, can I correct you for a minute?
Okay.
He should have said, and you should have said, when things have gone
Past
well.
tense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
And people have a tendency to think, well, I think we mentioned this last week, that people think the market will go up 18% this year. Easy.
Yeah, because it has gone up a lot. A lot.
The other part is, and this is, I see this so often. that many of you do believe, well, yeah, I want to do what Don and Tom talk about, index funds, sort of
like
globally invested. And then you just have trouble doing that because you are overconfident. Here's the other quote. A lot of experienced investors seem to believe that the warning, past performance warning, won't apply to them. It's because they think I can make it work because I know better. I see that so often. I
need a little introspection. We do, on the part of all of you listening. All of you. Do you honestly, deep down in your hearts, in your brain, in your subcortex, believe that you are a better investor than everybody else? Really? Really? The problem is even those who actually are better investors still stink at it, so how are you likely to do? Not very well. Your confidence is misplaced. 855-935-TALK. That's our number. Call us.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
A second opinion could save your life either physically or fiscally. Let one of our Vestory advisors help you save your future at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Hello again. Welcome back to our little get-together that we call a talk show. We even call it a podcast sometimes. I know. Huh? Pretty cool. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. We have a question for you. Here's a question. You can call us. We'll give you the answer later. But right now, if you want to call and answer this question, we'd love to hear your how expert you are as an investor. Here's a really, really simple expert investing question. You have a choice between two mutual funds. One mutual fund costs 0.75% per year, but was the top performing mutual fund last year. The other fund has an expense ratio of 0.1%. However, it was not the top. It was right in the middle last year, and it's been average for every year prior to that for 20 years. Which fund would you choose? 855-935-TALK, 855-935-8255. And Diana, it's your turn. Welcome to Talking Real Money. Actually, you're first. So.
Hey, how are you?
Hi, I'm great.
Good.
Can you hear me?
We can't. Wait.
We hear you fine.
Hold
yes.
on, I lost my mic. What
okay.
is weird?
Go ahead, Diana.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, I have a question. I received about $200,000 from my dad when he passed away, and I was hoping to buy either an investment property or a vacation type place, but the prices have been going up so fast that I don't think I can afford it right now. So where could I invest my money other than a bank account at the banks that I can still get to easily if I needed it right away?
Let me ask you a really important question before we try to answer that very common question, very likely the number one question we get on this show on a daily basis. Why do you want to buy an investment property or a second home?
Well, we were going to go in as a family just to have a place to go to. And
okay, but it's kind of like buying timeshare. Let's say a second home costs you even just $250,000 for something small. Are you going to go there multiple times a year, every year, or are you going to want some vacation variety?
Well, that's been our discussion. We're not quite sure, but we thought
it's kind of like buying a timeshare, but more expensive, really.
Here's something to think about. If it is a lifestyle decision, because we look at real estate as lifestyle, right? I like living where I live. Don likes places he lives. It's a lifestyle decision. So, but the reality is, in today's world, here's the way I look at it, because I do this with my family a couple of times a year. You can go rent anywhere for whatever, basically any place, anytime. That's my takeaway. And then you don't have your money locked that, et cetera, et cetera. So I would not go buy a property because I think I'm going to get rich. I wouldn't go buy a property unless I had to buy in from everybody to see you a certain number of times in that location, because it does make a great point. Expensive way to have a family experience. That's my take.
And you got, not only do you have the cost of the building, but you have the cost of the maintenance, the cost of all these things. And think about it this way. If you took that $200,000 and you put it into a well-diversified portfolio, like a balanced fund, with a little bit of stocks, a little bit of bonds, you could probably reasonably safely take out about $10,000 every year without depleting your principal, and take basically a free vacation. $10,000.
All right, but let's answer.
But the question is, we don't have the answer.
Where to do short-term money? Okay, here are your options. Number one, savings account, paying 0.14, right? Nothing. Number two, high yield savings, paying about 0.5%. Or we from time to time talk about a short-term investment fund, more risk, some volatility, yielding about 1.9%. Those are the choices. A few others out there. You could buy a CD, obviously, again, paying less than 1% a year.
And I know you could hardly hear Tom because he was cutting out, but did that help at all?
Yes, I think I like the advice of not buying something. So I'm going to talk with my kids and see if we can do something different.
Do some, while you're, just to help make your case, right? Go to Airbnb or some of the other websites and price renting a house for 2 weeks in the places you typically go. I bet you could probably do it for about $10,000 or less.
By the way, 2 weeks, my family can't take me from a week. So 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks is too much for your family, particularly when you become robotic. So, Diana, thanks for the call. We're glad to give you a little ammunition in your quest to do something better with it. It's better to really invest it in a well-diversified portfolio that's right for your risk tolerance and that can help pay for your vacations. 855-935-TALK. That's our phone number, 855-935-8255. You can call us and we will just try our darndest to help you, like we're going to do with James. Hi, James. Welcome to Talking Real Money.
Hey, this is how you doing. I'm glad to finally get hold of you guys. I like to pose a question, but first I'd like to paint the scenario. And Don, you're going to need your calculator. I'll give you a fair warning.
I got it.
I am expecting to get a payment or a retribution for a VA appeal. Mm-hmm. To the tune of possibly $100,000.
Okay.
What I would like to do, perceivably, and you can tell me whether it's viable or not, after giving about 10% to my place of worship, I would like to gift to my daughter and son-in-law and my eldest granddaughter the maximum taxable or non-taxable amount that I can give them without getting stuck for taxes. And the last percentage, splitting 40% each between my living expenses, i.e. investments, and the other 40% investing in in my LLC as a media consultant. So how far off base am I, and what can I do with this?
Well, you're gonna run out of money really fast, because if you give money to 3 people at the max gift tax exclusion, which is $15,000, you're down 45, then the 10K to charity, so you're down about 55, which leaves you about 45, and you start splitting that up, and there's not a lot to support your lifestyle. But hang on, let's continue this on the other side of this brief break. Give us a call, 855-935-TALK.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Tom and I created Vestory to help everyone become a better investor, even those who will never be clients. Let one of our advisors help you start your financial plan or solve a money problem free with no obligation or high-pressure sales pitch at Vestory.com, Vestory.com.
your guides to a really great financial future. Tom and Don are talking real money.
All right, so here's the dilemma. Let's reset this. James is getting about $100,000. He wants to give 10% to his church, which is great. Tithing is a good thing. And then he wants to split the remaining $90,000 in part between family members. And it was 3, correct, James?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, husband and wife, and adult teenager. So it's actually
okay. That's
parties.
3. Well, actually, no. You can give 15 to each of the married couple. To each member, if you want to.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
I'd like to keep it separate between the two.
Okay. So then we're talking. Now we're at $40,000, which leaves you with $60,000 to help fund your business and provide some income to you. Now the reality is that $25,000 or $30,000 is not likely to provide much in the way of an income. I mean, if you give it a decade and you semi-aggressively invest it, you might be able to turn 25 or 30 into 50 to 60 over a decade. But it's not going to make a huge difference in your life, I don't think.
Well, considering I've already had about 2 or 3 heart issues, and I'm in my mid-60s, I'm not really too concerned about my longevity, but I would like to make sure that I have a legacy left for my family. So it won't take a whole lot for me to have an existence. But I would like.
Well, how are you living now? I guess that's a better question. How are you living now?
I am borrowing against my estate in a 1-bedroom, and currently unemployed. So I am, aside from doing the LLC or consulting with as a general contractor of media services, I really don't have a lot of expenses. I'm on Social Security, and so that's kind of where I'm at. So I don't have any real big issues as far as making money, but I would like to be able to continue in a lifestyle and enjoy a little bit left of life, whatever that may be.
Well, can I make a suggestion here, by the way? Because I think I really, really do appreciate the fact you want to help others, because somebody wrote us last night, Don, and said, well, thank you guys. You're just very helpful. So I see that side of things. You want to help your family. You want to help your church. Wonderful. I agree with Don there. But here's an idea. Because you're still relatively young, you might want to hold on to just a little bit more of that money yourself, because if things come up and you may need the money, you can only, and Don correctly points this out, if you're left with $60,000, the most you can really pull out of that annually to make sure it's going to last for a long time, $3,000 a year. That's not very much to add to Social Security. So my urging would be to be conservative with how much of that you give away. By the way, if you don't spend it, you can give it all away at the end of your life. That's still pretty much there. So, I mean, that's the way I would look at it, because I want to make sure you're okay first, then others. That's how I do that.
And it's not meant to sound selfish, and we don't want anyone, but you really need to look out for you, because nobody else is going to. And the kids and the grandkids and the nieces and the nephews, they're all living their own life. And if they get something after you're gone, that's great. It's a nice gift that they get from you. But Tom is right. You need to take care of you. And it sounds like you're living on the ragged edge of existence, and you want to live a better life. So I would take most of that $100,000 and I would invest it for you in a relatively conservative portfolio, and just generate a little bit of extra income and make your life a bit more comfortable. Thanks for the call. We appreciate it, James. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. Boy, and this is so difficult, because I've seen this up close and personal. As you know, with my father-in-law, he wanted to spend money, give money to others when he needed it himself. You got to take care of you first.
before you can try to help others in your family.
And I get the
can be
desire
very
to leave a
difficult
legacy.
emotionally.
It is ingrained in us for thousands and thousands of years to leave something to your children. But that really has to take a back seat to taking care of you because you're more important to your children.
Are talking real money.
Want a free copy of my book, Financial Physics? Well, go download it right now at vestory.com, VESTORY.com.
Reality radio for a really great future. We're talking real money.
Good afternoon. Tech support. May I help you?
No internet, no line.
Thank you for calling
no
tech support.
electricity. This is bad. This is bad. I think the car still runs. You got that going for you.
Yeah, but not once they get rid of internal combustion engines. I don't know what you're going to do then. You won't know how to work the car.
Mercedes says no more in 10 years, period.
Wow.
End of story.
Others are saying 5.
I know. That's that fast.
Yeah. I was watching a video. Oh, I'll get to the calls in a minute. I was watching a video of this car company that's owned by Intel, this smart car company. I can't remember the name of it. But they have a car that just has cameras. And I watched a 30-minute video, fascinating, of this car with the driver not touching the steering wheel one time, driving all over Midtown Manhattan midday on a weekday.
I'd be in the backseat crying. So
I'm
sure,
telling
why
you,
not?
it was dodging pedestrians, the delivery trucks on the side of the road. It gets up there and just zips around them. I'm going, whoa. Nobody, you could see the driver. He didn't touch the steering wheel. The car did it all. So
I'm
cool.
glad I'm old and I won't have to face that.
You
so
will.
I'll
You
still have
will.
my hands
You will.
firmly
Trust me.
gripped to the
When
steering
you're
wheel.
89 years old and your daughter is saying, Dad,
Close my
Dad,
eyes.
give me back the driver's license. Give it
gosh.
to me.
Oh, those are fun conversations.
Then you're
sure.
going to say, okay, give me the self-driving car. All right, I got it. 855-935-TALK. That's our phone number. And let's see. Eric is next.
Eric.
Hi, Eric. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. I have a question about this Washington CARES Act that's about to impose a payroll tax January 1st, and there's an opt-out period. And I'm just not convinced whether I should pursue a life insurance plan that will allow me to opt out, or if I should just go ahead and pay the tax and let the state deem what's the best for me and covering me in my old age.
Yeah. So here's the deal. This has come
Glad
up.
you're
and
answering this one.
We wrote a little paper about this because we had a lot of people have asked us.
Yeah.
It's about half of 1% tax on your gross payroll, half of 1%. And you have to be in the plan. I believe it's for 5 years before you're eligible to take anything. The idea here is the state is going to get into the long-term care business because people are getting to the end of life and they don't have any way to take care of themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the money to take care of themselves. So the state of Washington is going to do that. But I think the maximum benefit is something like only $36,000. It's not very big. But here's the thing. To go buy a policy. How old are you, Eric?
I'm 42.
42. So you're young. So here's the thing. Apparently, the very inexpensive options, and there were some that came out right away, right, where people were carriers, insurance carriers said, we'll write a policy that'll cover what you need, and we'll do it for cheap. Apparently, all that has been covered, written, and they're not writing it anymore. So now to get a premium-based policy is more expensive, or to get a hybrid-type policy, which is the more of those are written in long-term care today than the premium. In other words, you give them some money, they take the premium out of that, they supply whatever you need the rest of your life, and if you don't spend it, they give it back to you. At 42, that's a long time. Again, it's a trade-off. There isn't a right or wrong here. Some people just don't want to pay the tax. I don't want to have the great state of Washington taking the money. So you have to, the employer, here's the part where it gets interesting. The employer is going to be asking employees, do you have a policy? I mean, what enforcement is there going to be? Employees say, yeah, I got a policy. Sure. Okay. So you don't have to pay the tax.
But then you're not
That's
in the
where it gets
program,
tricky.
correct?
Right. You're
if
not
you
in the
don't
program.
pay the tax, then you're
uninsured.
not in the
Correct.
program.
Yeah.
Let's look at it mathematically, though. I am 100% confident that for someone making $100,000 a year, that you are not going to be able to get a long-term care policy that would pay $36,000 a year. Not for $500 a year.
That apparently there were some cheapies
they
like
used
that
to exist,
that were around,
yes.
and
they
then
used to exist,
gone. Yeah.
but they vanished because they ended up paying out
guaranteed,
far
by the
more.
way, someone will call us now and tell us that there is, because this is a very controversial.
I have looked all over the place.
tax.
I have recently done a lot of shopping for long-term care because I'm getting old. Now, I should have thought about it a long time ago,
Yeah,
but I was
More
looking
like
at
50.
it, and it is really expensive even when you're in your 50s. And I don't know
that's
what it
the
is
other
in
thing.
your 40s.
Can you qualify, because you have to have decent health too?
Right.
They don't want to qualify people. They're
I
going
don't
to be
know.
expensive.
It's getting to the point, and I get the tax thing, and I get the government. I don't want them in my business.
Yep.
I get
That's
all
right.
that. I get all of that, but we have reached the point where much of our medical care and long-term care system is dysfunctional for anyone who isn't wealthy.
And indeed, that's true. So probably in your case, you're probably going to take the Part B, and that is pay the tax. You'll have a little bit of money there should you need it when you get older, because you will be eligible for that benefit due to the fact that you're in the program long enough.
Thanks for the call, Eric. We appreciate it. 855-935-TALK is our phone number. Call. We've got lines open for you right now.
Tom and Don are talking real money.
Is your portfolio a mess? You may have a case of hodgepodgeitis, but don't worry, we can help. Just set up a free, no-obligation meeting with a Vestory advisor at Vestory.com. No sales pitch, guaranteed. That's Vestory.com.
For your real life and real future, Tom and Don are talking real money.
Real money. What you have is real to you. It's really important, so we really want to talk about it with you because we want you to be able to have more money in the future. We want you to enjoy a better future. We want you to save better, spend better, and invest a lot better because most of you, sorry, we look at your accounts. You're bad investors. Not a soul has answered our investor question yet.
Oh, it's a good point.
Our
Which
mutual
is what?
fund.
Ask the question again.
The question is, you have a choice between only two mutual funds. You must choose one. One was the hottest fund last year. It beat every fund in the market last year, but it costs 0.75% per year. The other fund costs 0.1% per year and has been exactly average for every year of its 20-plus year existence. Which fund would you choose?
So one's been mediocre. One was the Supernova, and you got to decide between them, even though one was more expensive.
Which one gives you a better chance of future success? 855-935-TALK is our phone number. 855.
And what do they get if they get it right?
8255. Tom will send you his computer cable that broke.
I'll sign it or something?
Signed computer cable that broke.
Well,
no, what?
something.
Okay.
No, we'll do something better than that.
You will?
I
You'll
don't
do
know
something
what it
for him?
is, sure.
Give
we
him
got
a
all
book
kinds
or
of-
something? We have
got books, we got mugs, we got pens,
now that we
got all
merged with
kinds of
Appella,
swag.
now that we merged
Yeah?
with Appella, they have all that swag in Connecticut. It's much fancier than our swag. Why don't they give us some of that to give away?
Yeah, because people want the Tom and Don stuff.
That's true.
you know,
They want
that's
the
always true.
the stuff with our mugs on it. Our mugs on a mug. We need to do a mugs mug.
We'll send you a mug.
We
at the
need to
very
do
least.
a mugs mug.
Oh, we have water bottles too.
Oh, those are nice. Those are
nice.
nice.
I love the green color, and they do really well in this type of weather.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a water bottle.
And they while they're very nice, it does not cost $250,000 to drink from one, unlike a space flight.
That's a heck of a yeah.
Well, no, when you're talking real money, if you want to go into space, you got to blow $250,000 to $500,000.
Something like that. I think you could blow more than that if you.
Oh, yeah. Elon Musk's ships, because
How much
they
is
actually
his?
go into orbit, they're like millions.
They go above the Kármán line.
Yeah. It's the Blue Origin. Now, the Blue Origin,
No suborbital
I think the
nonsense.
Blue Origin is going to end up being more expensive than the Virgin, which is contrary to what you'd think normally.
I'm leaving you hang to dry on that one.
Sorry, but the Virgin only gets you up so high, you know. The Blue Origin has bigger windows. The Bezos
Yeah, but
Bomb.
you don't do anything. You just sit there.
You float.
You're literally
you
spamming a can.
float.
Oh, do you undo your seatbelt?
You get to, for like
float
a minute and a half,
around?
you get to float around in the cabin.
Okay, all right.
There's a little float.
Yeah,
You know,
all right.
something you,
10
of course,
and a half
can't do
minutes or
anywhere on the
11
earth,
minutes.
like in a pool or an ocean. But
I think you can actually rent a plane and do it if you want. Because
You
can't
can,
they go
you can.
up and down enough to anyway?
But it bothers me.
Okay.
It bothers me a
Yeah.
little bit that we now have space flight for the rich. It's like, and it's not for the rich.
Well-
It's for the ultra rich.
Yeah, you got to have a lot of money to go ahead and blow $250. One of our advisors looked into this. Pretty interesting. Andrew Hooley.
Who?
He looked into the first commercial flight back in 1914. They auctioned off the first commercial flight. The person paid $400 to go on a 23-minute flight across Tampa Bay.
Well,
So
$400 back then, that's pretty,
all right. Well,
pretty expensive.
He ran it at inflation, 107 years at 3% a year. He says is $9,500 in today. Nowhere near the $250,000 to go into space.
Yeah, but
Nowhere near that.
what did that floating biplane cost? I mean, it probably cost $4,000. So it's still, the rocket costs, these things are billions these guys are blowing on these rockets.
Yeah.
And by the way, did you know that the first flight was for a commercial airline?
You don't think these things are for commercial airlines?
No, this was for an actual, it would take you. You would get on the plane in St. Pete, and you would fly across Tampa Bay to Tampa. And that was actually a commercial service for all of 3 months. And then people went, wait, I can just drive there.
around.
And it's less than $400.
Yeah, a lot less.
Yeah, that's not.
Okay,
that's
anyway,
not,
this is kind of fun.
Well, that's not taking your money too seriously in either case. $400 for although first plane ride, kind of cool. None of these people going up in the Virgin Atlantic or the Bezos mobile, none of them are going up for the very first time. This is not the first space flight.
Bezos buggy or Bezos bus or something.
Well, I called it the Bezos bomb, but that's bad because we don't want it exploding.
Yeah, let's not say that. We got a couple people that want to answer your question, though. Do you want to try them?
Oh, sure. Hey, Kevin, welcome to Talking Real Money.
Thank you.
Do you have an answer to our question?
Hear me?
Which mutual fund?
Yeah.
Which mutual fund?
I would take the stalwart, the consistent one. The one who did really well is probably not going to keep up that statistic. So I'd take the one that's consistent over the years.
And what's the one factor? I'm going to just put you on the spot. What is the one factor that makes that determination, that makes the one that's average more likely to succeed in the future?
When you have that really low expense ratio, it's
You
only
got
what
it.
is it?
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, you're the man.
You're an
Kevin.
above average investor.
Would you like to be a financial advisor? Maybe deep down or something. Maybe
That is the one. That's the one
that's
qualification.
Our training ends right there. That's it. Low fee. Got it.
All right,
Sign
Kevin,
up.
hang on.
Actually, yeah.
Hang on the line. Stacey's going to get your phone number. We'll call you and send you something. And we're going to let Scott go on, see what his answer is, even though he already knows the answer.
Oh, well, you already heard.
Scott, what's the answer again?
I've heard the answer because.
Well, what was your answer going to be? I want you to be honest. What was your answer going to be?
Okay. My answer was going to be. I'm going to tell you it's the 0.1% of 1% no load. Get that out there, but I'm not going to tell you guys that I'm going to take like an extra $1,000, something, a little coffee money, and throw it into the big one just as kind of this precarious thrill.
Oh.
All right, you failed then.
So that's what.
Okay.
Realizing that that's completely gambling, that's equivalent to buying a lottery ticket. So put my lottery ticket money over
Do
there.
you know where the Muckleshoot Casino is? How far is that from your home?
You can get in there still.
Not that far, really.
Okay, and you got $1,000 you can just blow? Come on, they're going to treat you real.
No.
Call them in advance. Say, hey, Muckleshoot, I'm going to blow $1,000. What kind of stuff can you give me for free?
Oh yeah.
More than the fund will give you.
It'll be a lot more fun.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Thanks for the call, Scott. We appreciate it. 855-935-TALK. Call us anytime. Talk about money.
By the way, we know most people, the surveys show this, most people will pick the hot fund. You won't tell us that because you know we're the low-cost guys.
You know, yeah, that's true. They know the right answer with us.
Yeah, exactly. But most people will look at the return and go, oh, I got to have some of that. Yeah. Or maybe like Scott, I'll just have a little of it. Just a little taste because it's so good compared to that other mediocre low-cost fund.
Oh, by the way, who was the first guy to pay $400 for being the first passenger? It was the mayor of St. Pete.
All right. And he didn't auger into the bay?
AC Field paid $400 for being the first passenger. There you go.
We hope you realize that the information provided on Talking Real Money is for educational and hopefully enjoyable purposes only. Providing personalized financial planning or investing advice takes time, so please consult with a really good fee-only fiduciary investment, tax, or legal advisor. We know a good one. Investing must always involve risk. In other words, you can and probably will lose money at times. Also, as much as you want it, no one can accurately, consistently predict the future. So past performance doesn't tell you a darn thing about what the future will bring. Unlike many other programs that say something similar, Talking Real Money is not trying to get you to buy or sell any financial products or securities. Instead, the program is provided as a public service by Vestry, a fee-only registered investment advisor. Thanks for listening, and please visit TalkingRealMoney.com for more information and disclosures. That's a wrap.